I would rate installing a patio bolt as an easy project that even a beginner DIYer could easily complete. In this video, I'll show you how to install one onto aluminium sliding patio doors. Sliding, check. Aluminium, check. You attach it to the rear of the sliding part of the doors, and I'll show you why later. This one needs a gap of at least 16mm. It would be wise to check before installing that the bolt will reach the static frame and that screwing the lock into the door will not screw it into any glass. This is not really likely since glass usually only extends about 5mm into the frame. Otherwise, you'd not be able to replace the glass. This lock has a spacer we can use to mark the 2 screw holes. Then we use a centre punch to put a divot to make it easier to drill the 4mm screw holes. Then we can screw in the screw just a little to make it easier to screw in once we attach the lock. We have to use the aluminium rather than the wood screws. Now we can remove the lock cover and screw in the screws until they're nearly in. Then use a manual screwdriver to tighten them up. We don't want to overdo it and strip any thread, so tighten it up until tight, then a fraction of a turn to secure them. Then snap in the cover. Here I'm using a wax crayon to mark the end of the bolt. Once we push it in, then that'll leave a mark on the top of the frame of where we need to drill. This bolt extends 49mm above the lot. The gap's 31mm, so we need to drill about 20mm into the frame top. Now we can use a 12mm drill bit and use some masking tape about 20mm from the top to indicate the required depth. Try inserting the bolt to ensure it slides easily. Here we can see it's binding. So we'll push the drill a little bit sideways to take out some more material. That's better. And now we can push the bolt into the locked position easily. Now we can put the ferrule against the frame and mark the 2 screw holes. I'm using an awl to start the hole. For these screws, they don't really need a pilot hole, but you can if you wish. Then we can screw it on and check that the bolt still slides easily. Now we can measure along 100mm and install a second hole and ferrule. This will allow the door to be locked in a slightly open position for airflow. This is just repeating the earlier steps. Here I'm using a wax crayon to mark the end of the bolt. Once we push it in, then that'll leave a mark on the top of the frame of where we need to drill. Drill the hole. Attach the ferrule. So now we can have some airflow. And because the lock is on the rear of the door, someone cannot put their hand in to unlock it. Nice. Cheerio.